chunks of me. You're a shark and I'm swimming. My heart still thumps as I bleed. I know your friends come sniffing. Triangles are my favorite shape. Need points, but do like me. Toe to toe, back to back, let's go. My love thrilling till morning comes. Let's desolate. And give my all of you. I'll breathe stones along my love and give along my heart. 3 guns and 1 goes off. One's empty, one's not looking out. 1 bird, 1 red, 1 green. Says the greens while the captain's good. Chunks of you will sit down to seas. Blubber rich in morning. I'm not sure, yes, I know she got away, but it's fair to say you will still haunt me. Triangles are my favorite shape. 3 points for 2 lines meet. Toe to toe, back to back, let's go. My love is very late till morning comes. Let's desolate.
Yeah, good morning. Cymarshall reporting live. It is December 2nd, 2020, and you were here with the boy, Cymarshall. So check it out. Let's see here. I'd like to thank y'all for joining me this morning. That joint I just played is by Alt J, called Tessellate. One of my favorite joints. You know what I'm saying? It's not that new, and when I'm here, I'm not always gonna play new joints. I'm just gonna play joints that are Cymarshall. That's what this is really all about. I just want to bring to the world all the dope shit that I kind of know about and I've been holding to myself. And there's so many dope joints, so many books, so many movies, so many television shows that I feel like my inner core friends always get from me in our little group chat, so my family gets from me. But I feel like there's a lot of dope shit that's being missed by a lot of people, and Cymarshall Show is gonna bring you all of that every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday until I feel like stopping. Because this is who I am, this is what I do. So, morning thank yous. As y'all know, I like to start every morning with a thank you, a big thank you. So, this morning I would like to thank the universal gods, cosmic intelligence, the universe, God, Jah, the creator. Thank you for allowing me to wake up today full of purpose, full of passion, full of love in my heart. Thank you for my physical health. Thank you for my mental health. Thank you for my emotional health. Thank you for my confidence in myself. Thank you for the love in me that enables me to drive forward and battle anything in my path, battle any obstacle in my path. Thank you, God, for giving me the strength and the courage and the bravery to look honestly at myself in the mirror, because boy, I know a lot of people don't do that shit, and it's not easy. It's not easy. Sometimes I don't look honestly at myself, and I find that I get the furthest in my life when I'm detail orientated, picking myself apart, as where other people, and those other people can be me, get held back by just not being honest. And I think honesty is the key. So God, I'd like to thank you for me being able to be honest with myself, and I'd like to thank you for being able to be honest with yourself, because there's a lot of people out there not being honest with themselves. So if you are one of the people that can go out in the world today and be honest with yourself and not bullshit other people because of your own inner fears or lack of confidence or sense of self-security, I salute you. Because being honest 24/7 is not for the light of heart. You know, you got to be honest about your health, about your mental state, about who are your real friends, about who's your real family. And when you really have to analyze those things and think about some things in your life, you have to face a lot of crazy realizations. Whether that's the diet, you needing to change your diet, whether that's you needing to change friends, needing to change your job. It's real rough out there. So I'd like to thank the universal God for honesty. I'd like to thank the universal God for abundance, affluence, prosperity, success, blessings on top of blessings on top of blessings on top of blessings. So yeah. So today, the morning thoughts I'd like to start with is perspective. And the reason I'm starting with perspective is out of a conversation that I had yesterday with my daughter. She came into the studio as I was, I think I was writing a rhyme or something. And she was kind of complaining about her schoolwork. And I was telling her, no, you know what? She came in and she was like, I don't think I can do it. And I was like, nah. If you don't think you can do it, you know that you're already beaten, right? Like, if you don't think you can do something, you are straight already beaten. And sometimes there's something in your face, and it seems like the task is like enormous, epic. And you're looking at this enormous, epic task, and you're like, there's no way I can do this thing. But the thing is, if you look at that thing, and before you even start trying your beat, you're done. You are simply done. A great man once said, and excuse me for not remembering this man's name, but he was obviously great because he came up with this shit. Whether you think you can or can't, you're right. That is one of my driving forces in life. A lot of people, you know, don't get started. They finish before they even get started. And the reason why I'm able to do what I do, and other people, you know, successful people, all the successful people that you love probably are able to do what they do, is because they know that. Whether they think they can or can't, you're right. So she came in here and she was like, you know, I don't think I can do this math homework. And you know, she's only in 7th grade, and I'm like, my daughter is smart as a whip, straight up. However, everybody's not the same. And that goes to perspective, because the way one person sees something, another person may see the exact same thing and not see the same thing as the first person saw. And I think that's where a lot of times people get into a lot of beefs, because we're looking at the same thing, but because I have my genetic makeup and you have your genetic makeup and they're totally different, no two people on earth are the same, we're looking at this thing through totally different lenses, and a lot of beef comes. I feel like the more you focus your attention on a certain thing, the more you're able to bring it to life. So if I see something and I just know that I can bring it to life, then it's a greater chance of that actually happening than you coming in here and being like, I don't think I can do it. Because I always believe that if you take a step towards what you want to get to, that thing you're trying to get to will always take a step towards you. And if you're defeated before you start that mission, you can never take a step towards where you're going, and where you're going will never take a step towards you because you defeated yourself before you started. So I want to give a big shout out for everyone that realizes that everyone has a different perspective. I also want to give a big shout out, to teachers. I've been thinking about this a lot. In 2020, obviously, we all getting crushed by the pandemic, and I know I've had a regular job where in the job, because of everything that's going on, whether it's race relations, police brutality, the pandemic, COVID, having to work from home, that should be whooping my ass sometimes. Because it's like, you want to just live your life and do your job, but all these outer forces are coming and fucking you up. And then when you go to work and try to do your job, it's like the things that are concerning you, your issues outside of work, your coworkers don't have the same issues. And that leads to, everyone having different lives, but it also comes from different perspectives. The way they view what's going on in the news and what's going on in the world is not affecting them the same because they have different perspectives. So switching back to teachers and students, one student may see a problem and it might affect them totally different because another student might have something else going on in their life, and because they have, two different lives, one student might have a messy house life, or one student might be affected by another family member passing away, whereas the other student might just have a good life. And you have these students in class, and student A is just all good and student B is all good. Now they're both smart, right? But they have two totally different perspectives coming into school that day. One is like, damn, I gotta get through school with all this shit on my mind, and I don't think I can do it. Whereas the other student, they woke up bouncy, like, yo, I'm about to get it. And even though they have the same intelligence level, because one's perspective is, I can do this, I'm about to get it, and another's perspective, because of their life, is, I think I can't do it. They're at a total disadvantage, and I feel like teachers have to have the utmost props right now because they're dealing with a class full of different perspectives. Like, how are you trying to teach one subject, but you have 20 kids in front of you with 20 different perspectives? I mean, some of their perspectives might be the same, but a lot of the things that these kids are going through, they're all different, and they're not supposed to talk about these things at school, just like how I go to fucking work and I'm not supposed to talk about these things at work. And I know I'm not supposed to because I'm there to do my job. However, that doesn't stop my life. It doesn't stop my life. And a lot of times we don't get time to breathe, and I think that shit is crazy as hell. I mean, I suppose if we cater to everyone having a problem, then the world would just come to a grinding halt. However, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I want to give a shout out to all these teachers busting their asses. I mean, I don't like to get emails or calls from teachers. My children know that. Like, do not have your teacher call my phone. Do not, because if she calls my phone or he calls my phone, I know it's an issue. But I'm getting a lot of calls. And I don't know if I want to come from my kids the way I usually would, because we're in this pandemic. And I feel like the way adults are trying to get through this stuff, you have like 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds not able to articulate the issues they're going through. But what we're seeing is that some kids are falling behind. And parents have their jobs too, so they can't stay on top of everything. I mean, this shit is crazy. How is one parent at work in one room and in the next room, their kid is struggling with whatever programs or applications their school has given them, where I'm at work struggling with my own applications I'm trying to learn, and my kid, who's a young kid, is in another room struggling with her school applications. But if she was in school, there would be no applications. As where you might have some kids that are just computer savvy and are having no problems with this. They're actually able to do their schoolwork while they're playing PlayStation. They're actually able to do their schoolwork like normal. They're able to do their sports, their schoolwork, whatever they were doing before, and they're not skipping a beat. And I feel like it has a lot to do with perspective and discipline. And I feel like if you don't have a good perspective, you can't have a good discipline about yourself. And if you don't have a good discipline about yourself, you'll never have a good perspective, because your lack of discipline will always allow you to cheat. Your lack of discipline will always allow you to not be honest. And people struggle being honest. And I think the best perspective always comes out of honesty. Yo, shout out to Reed and Rosa on the check-in. You know what I'm saying? She's a teacher, one of my friends, and I know she does a hell of a lot. And this is going on all over the world, whether it's from Japan or New Jersey, Canada, Africa, Jamaica. I believe right now, all over the world, everyone's getting crunched. And I want to give a huge shout out to the teachers, just, battling their way through it. I also want to give a shout out to the parents, because, man, them parents is getting crunched right now. Believe you me, them parents is getting crunched. So a lot of the times also, I feel like people get into arguments or beefs because, like I said, whether you're going through a lot of things at home and you're not enunciating these things to your friends all the time, or maybe not even your friends, it's people you talk to. And I'm not even talking about work right now. It could be like old friends or new friends. And I feel like sometimes you don't always give them your whole life. And then they view you in this crazy light because they don't see the whole picture, but they think they see the whole picture. And that's another thing. Unlike social media, where everybody is right now, there's a lot of judgment going on because people feel like what you show them, whether that's on Facebook or on the gram, is your whole life. And no, I'm pretty sure there's only a few people on the internet showing all their true colors right now. But we go to someone's gram or we go to someone's Twitter and read their feed, and we judge them off of that, and we build a perspective on them based off a limited view. And I think there's a whole lot of that going on right now. So I want to give a shout out to the teachers again for having to deal with so many different perspectives from so many young people, whether that's 7 years old to 10 years old to 17 to 21. And you know what? When I say teachers, I don't just mean in the school. I mean like all around teachers. When I say that, sometimes there are artists who teach me. Matter of fact, I learn from everything. Whether that's me looking at a painting and analyzing the painting and kind of figuring out where the artist's mind might have been at. I learned from movies. I learned from TV shows. I learned from reading. I learned from people. I learned from artists. And I want to give a shout out to all the artists right now that are teaching through their music. Because, in 2020, let me bring it back. For my whole career, music career, as some of y'all might know, Cymarshall, I'm an artist, hip hop artist. I've always, because I was born in England, right? And my parents are Jamaican. My parents, when I was growing up in England, used to be Rastafarian. And when we used to walk around the house listening to, when I was a kid, used to walk around the house, my parents used to play a lot of conscious reggae music. And as I grew up, I had these core lessons from these conscious reggae artists that I didn't necessarily understand where I got them from. I mean, my parents were teaching me a lot, but as I grew older, I came to realize that a lot of the music I was listening to when I was young, not even realizing I was learning so much from it. So a lot of the conscious reggae artists back in the late 80s, early 90s, whatever, thank y'all for being my teacher on so many subjects. So bringing that right back around to artists of nowadays, I feel like since the beginning of my career, I can rap about all different types of things, but one thing that stayed consistent is that I like to be uplifting. I like to be positive. I like to teach. I feel like at my core, that's who I am. And at the end of the day, I might go back to teaching. I think one day I might get, go back to school and study and get my degree to become a teacher of some sort. I think when it's all said and done, that's going to be my goal. But these artists nowadays in 2020, when I see an artist come out with a song and they're just on some bullshit, like talking about nothing, usually I'm definitely the type of person to be like, yo, never tell an artist how to paint his picture. Never. I'm never going to look at you, I'm never going to look at you and say, I don't like your painting, because I realize that your painting is a reflection of yourself. However, in 2020, everything that's going on, the things you're seeing on the news, the things that are going on in our lives, Nina Simone said, an artist's job is to reflect the times. Nina, right there, you see her, said an artist's job was to reflect the times. And I feel like nowadays when I hear an artist come out and they're just talking some bullshit in 2020, that kind of turns me off of you. I mean, I know there are different parts to everybody, but nah, in 2020, we need to teach those kids. We need to teach ourselves. We need to teach our friends. And I feel like the artists right now that are actually saying something in their music, all praise due. All praise due. Because there are some artists right now still talking that bullshit. I mean, we have to stay in the house during the pandemic and you still talking that bullshit. Bruh, you're not on the block. You're not busting nobody with no gun. That shit is like, it's becoming kind of corny to me. I mean, and I love some gangster rap, but right now I'm just like, there are bigger issues, or I don't want to make it seem like, I'm definitely not Mr. Conscious. I definitely have days where I can be kind of ignorant. Matter of fact, sometimes I like a bit of ignorance. However, right now I feel like there's a time and place for everything, and I feel like 2020 right now is just not the time. So I want to get into my artist of the day, and I feel like this is probably rap-wise, this is probably my favorite artist that I've heard about in 2020. And he is from England. Matter of fact, I don't know if he's from England or from Jamaica, or a Jamaican living in England, but I know right now he's in England and he's a Jamaican dude. And as y'all know, maybe I vibe with the dude because I was born in England and my parents are Jamaican. My whole family is Jamaican, so I have a feeling he went through a similar upbringing as I did, as far as the conscious reggae tunes getting played in the house. And I feel like it's being reflected through his music right now, because everything I see him do, I love it. And it seems so natural, it's passionate, it's raw, it's intelligent, and it comes from the heart. You can feel it. So I want to give a big shout out to this artist named Too Bada. Big shout out to Too Bada. I'm going to play a couple of his joints, and hopefully y'all can check the brother out. The first joint is called Awakening. You know what I'm saying? This is the Cymarshall Law Show. Let's get it.
Boris Johnson has warned that the fight against racism could be undermined by a minority resorting to
Hey, rest in peace, George Floyd. And all my brothers and sisters that's been taken by this racist system. All my ancestors looking down on us, giving us strength right about now. Yo, this is the last generation that you're gonna fuck with. You see, the trouble is, we was out here searching for justices, way before social media was showing clutching fists. They snuffed the king live on TV, then kept on pumping it. Then they wondering why the youngers wanna bun the ting. That you were born with a burden to have this color skin. Took a life murder before they understood the suffering. My granny used to say, you gotta work twice as hard as the white man if you wanna earn the same as him. But nah, granny, I'm done. I want my fair share. All that working hard, they still murdered George live on air. Yeah, another black mother's got a quiet tear. Man had his hands in his pockets like I don't care. Well, no more are we taking it. Rest in peace, George, you started the mass awakening. It's gone around the world, it's like history in the making. So the system's gotta come down, it was built on racism. Rosa was standing, Martin was walking, Malcolm was fighting, they don't want wanna rest my son might not live. Fuck that, I prefer to die so he can live. So he can tell his kids granddad we're having it. 2020, the concrete forest, in the bun down Boris, just to make sure that we could live. You see the people coming together now, you've seen the shit. My white brother standing with me now, we needed this. When they said the revolution would be televised, I bet they never imagined it on my phone in HD and shit. You can take down walls and statues. We prefer if you change laws and statutes. You try to make it about a race war, that's not true. We just want the feds to stop killing our black youths. We just want respect for the things that blacks do. If it's a democracy, do what Democrats do. We the only race, had our history erased and had it rubbed in the face. You've come far like that, I do. Like for the record, all lives matter is offensive. If you don't get it, ask the whites that's protesting. All my white friends in all my friends list don't need no explanation. They just with me in the trenches again. All lives matter is offensive. If you don't get it, ask the whites that's protesting. All my white friends in all my friends list don't need no explanation. They just with me in the trenches.
To all my people.
Bada. Hey yo, no matter where I go up and down the country, everybody's asking the same questions. After the marching and the protesting, what's next, brother? Well, all we need is one voice talking. We've been screaming for justice since the slave ships were brought in. Now the world's caught wind of what it's like when the system's racist and you're black and you're caught in it. No matter which patch I go, up and down the country, it's beautiful seeing black businesses grow. The same questions on everybody's lips though. After the marching, protesting, and what's next, brother? That's why we need one voice, a nationwide collaboration, and really we've got no choice. Cause they love to see us scattered and separated, but we know unity is where power's generated. Trying to line it up for the next rose melanated. When we get together, Lord knows we know they hate it. We've been on the ropes like ducking and we're weaving it. We can barely cope, but we just kept breathing. It's time
Cymarshall, lock show.
I'm flipping everything. Soul's on fire right now. I'm spitting everything. Every black business I know, I'm linking everything. North, south, east, and west. Studies, let's bring it in. We're frustrated, no doubt. Cause up until now, we couldn't see a way out. If you really wanna fight to change the system, this is what Butter's about. Only the time is now. One voice, one voice.
All we need to solve these seas.
One voice, one voice.
We'll be marching through these streets.
One voice, one voice.
I swear, terror's deep.
One voice, one voice.
To all my
All we need
people.
is one voice for the youth. They ain't got many options. If we're really gonna speak the truth, we're quick to say they're rude. But if you listen a little closer, there's pain in his attitude. My younger, you ain't gotta fight your brother. Let's take that energy and both fight the government. Young sister, you ain't gotta be no IG model. Don't you know the crew got you, sister? Give her a cuddle. Everybody gotta die someday. What's your purpose done? Mine's my kid's future to make sure the hurt is gone. Hot plate of truth is the platter I'm serving from. Think I'm standing by and watching these murders going on. So all community leaders, all public speakers, all master teachers, anybody with influence, chat to your people. Malcolm X was the preview, this is the sequel. By any means necessary, fight for my people. Look how much Marcus Garvey did without no streaming. Cause I'm steaming, ancestors no more dreaming. We can unite the whole of our people with one voice, one voice.
All we need to solve these seas.
One voice, one voice.
We'll be marching through these streets.
One voice, one voice.
I swear, terror's deep.
One voice, one voice.
To all my people.
One voice, one voice.
All we need to solve these seas.
One voice, one voice.
We'll be marching through these streets.
One voice, one voice.
I swear, terror's deep.
One voice, one voice.
To all my people.
It's time to start having them uncomfortable conversations. Time to take the initiative. Time to lead the way. It's all about coming together. One voice, one momentum, one people. Time to start the conversation.
Yeah. So that was Too Better. Yo, check out his Instagram. It's the number 2, BADDA. Again, that's the number 2, BADDA. Check that brother out, man. Check that brother out. It's been an inspiration for a lot of people all year. So big shout out to him. Yo, big shout out to all the Jamaicans in England going through it right now that came to England when they was little, and now England out here trying to deport these people back to Jamaica. It's crazy. It's crazy because my parents, you know, when my parents were little, they moved to England. And luckily, my parents didn't get caught up in that, but it's definitely my parents' age that are going through it. So they're sending these people back to Jamaica that are like above 50, 60, whatever the age is. It's some BS. These motherfuckers been in England their whole lives, and now they throwing them back in Jamaica off of a technicality. That's crazy. It's like we have to start doing what we see is right, even though it might, how do I put this? All right, I'll give a different perspective, or a different way of saying it. So I've been watching this show on ABC called For Life, and it's a show that 50 Cent, I believe, produced, and it's about this brother who, an innocent brother who went to jail for life. And oh, it's a good thing. It's a good thing I brought this up because I can wrap in perspective and what I was saying. So he went to jail for life, right? And he was innocent, and he was within that jail, and he could have been like, "Yo, it's over. They got me. They got me." He was in there for like all different types of craziness, but what he did was he studied and became a lawyer. This is a true story. And he became the lawyer for prison inmates, and he helped a few of them get out, but he was still in there. And then I was about to say I don't want to give it away, but it's a true story, so it's out there right now. So this brother finally got himself out of jail by being a lawyer he studied and became a lawyer within jail, passed his bar exam while he was in maximum security prison, and became the lawyer for the prisoners, and then eventually got himself out of prison. And what I was saying about we have to do what's right. When he was very close to getting out, the powers that be were doing everything they could to keep this brother behind bars. And it was at a point where they all knew he was innocent, but it looked better if he stayed in jail. And I feel that's what I'm talking about as far as we have to start just doing what's right, regardless of the contract or whatever. It's like I was saying a couple shows ago about HBO stealing Dave's show. Like, fuck the contract. We know what is right and what's wrong. Like, I don't want to hear about technicalities or semantics. What is right and what is wrong? Let's go with that. So, back to the show For Life. My man, his perspective. He could have went in there and crumbled under the pressure. He could have been moaning and sad about his situation and just gave up. But my man had perspective. He believed in himself. He believed in the love in himself. He believed in the love that his family had for him. He had a grandbaby while he was in jail, and he wanted to see that grandbaby. So, his perspective was, I'm going to keep fighting by any means. I'm going to keep fighting for mine by any means. And even if I end up staying in here, at the end of the day, you're going to be able to say and look back at my story and be like, that man fought for what was right, even when everything was telling him not to. Even when everything was holding him back, against all odds, he still fought for what was right. And that, I think, comes out of your discipline for yourself, because you definitely could have went in there and just started doing what everyone else was doing. It comes out of your perspective, how you see yourself, how you see your situation, and your reality is always going to be birthed from your perspective. So if your perspective is someone who blames, or if your perspective is just self-defeating, you're defeated yourself before you started. You walking in here telling me, I don't think I can do the homework, it's too hard. Nah, baby, you can do the homework. You're smart enough. It's all in your perspective. Who are you? That's why I say a lot of times to my children, at the end of the day, a lot of our lives depends on who we really are. So what we see on social media, or the makeup we put on, or the clothes we put on, the hats we put on, the cars we drive, the houses we live in, these are not us. These are things that are reflections of us. However, our inside is what is real. So I always ask my kids, like, yo, when they're going through something, I look them dead in their face and I say, who are you? Yo, you know who I got that from? I don't know who I got it from, but you know who did that to me? KRS-One. So we were in a studio no, that's a fucking lie. We were never in a studio together. We were in his hotel room together, recording on studio equipment inside KRS's hotel room when he came to New Jersey. That's how we recorded the song Control we had together. And he wrote his verse in front of my face. I have the verse on my wall back there. Y'all can't see it. Oh, you can see it. That joint. This is KRS-One's. I'm blocking the joint. The joint right there. That's KRS-One's verse. He gave it to me. Anyway, I digress. So KRS, before he wrote his verse for my song Control, and this is good because you know what? KRS is the teacher. Ah, you see how I did that? Ah, your boy is nice. Yo, it's good I can crack myself up at 6:40 a.m. Anyhow, KRS, I digress. The teacher. So we're in his hotel room. It was me, my manager, Hakeem Green from Channel Live, the recording engineer, and one other person. But KRS was about to write his verse for my album, Hip Hop in the Soul, and the song is called Control. So I already had it written and recorded my verses and the hook and everything. So KRS was listening to the song, and then he was about to write his verse, and then he looked at me. We were sitting on the bed together. He looked at me dead in my face and was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "What you mean?" And he didn't even rephrase the question. He looked me dead in my eyes and he was like, this is KRS-One. He was like, "Who are you?" And I am definitely the type of person who but if you are really direct with me, I'm gonna give you a fucking direct answer. Like, do not think you're about to back my ass into a corner, because I'm definitely the type who will come out swinging. I know I can be real quiet and like laid back sometime, but I'm the last one you wanna come for. So not the KRS was coming for me, but the way he was asking his question was very direct and almost aggressive. So he looked at me and he was like, "Who are you?" And I said, I'm Cymarshall Law. I'm an artist from New Jersey, and I love hip hop. I gave him like 3 more answers like that, and he just kept asking. I think the brother asked me 5 times, who was I? And on the 5th time, man, I gave it to him. I gave him everything that brother was looking for. Everything he might have been. I didn't leave anything to question. Like, I gave him my life story, who I was, what I believe in, everything. And then he was like, "That's what I wanted to know." And he went and wrote his verse. So I believe he did that because first of all, he wanted to be a perfect part of my album. Sometimes people get on albums and you can tell they don't fit. They just did the verse to do the verse. But I feel like he wanted to know my perspective on life, so I allowed him to write his verse better. No one's ever done that to me besides him. That's how you know he's one of the greatest. So yeah, I gave him my perspective, and he was fucking with it. He was like, that's what I wanted to know. And everything is born out of your perspective. So big shout out to KRS-One. Big shout out to me. No, I'm joking. Not really. Moving right along. As far as teachers, so I came out with an album this year called Crossroads with my brother Ace Wonder. And on the album, I had a joint called They Lied. And when I create albums, I like to try to be everything I am. Like sometimes I might just want to brag. Sometimes I might want to teach. Sometimes I might want to talk about a female. Sometimes I might do a topic joint. But we were coming to a close on the album, and I realized that we needed to say more. And yeah, I have this joint on the album called They Lied. People really seem to enjoy it, and you know, it's me doing a little teaching, or not teaching, giving my perspective on things. And through my perspective, if you can learn something, you learn something. So this joint is called They Lied. Cymarshall Law from the Crossroads album, out now. Cymarshall Law Show. Thank y'all for listening. Let's go. It ain't fair. Was it meant to be? Starting to get off my chest. It ain't fair. Or was it meant to be? It ain't fair. Listen, in the 4th grade, I used to play sax. Now in the truth, I look in the mirror and face facts. You looking for something different, well then follow me. Nowadays, being genuine is a commodity. Knowing it's deep, I won't go and retreat. My name is Sai, but you lie like you going to sleep. It ain't fair, we was born to be winners. But when they see us, murderers, thugs, and killers. I won't waste my life, not today. Cause you could be innocent and still get locked away. I'm telling them cause I'm the genuine article. The only thing fair in this life is a carnival. Dad died, I swear I see him in a cardinal. Coming to terms with reality is hard to do. But never the macho man cries. No, I just smile with sad eyes. I could be joking but still broken. I'm being open, generous with my emotion. But for my kids I'ma fight to the end. My greatest fear is not providing for them. Think twice, this life is not for mice, it's for men. But grinding you finding a diamond and a gem. No light needed things to go right. I would hold tight like British told me to Snow White. They thought I would drown, should've known it was me. Cause I learned to swim and I was thrown in the sea. The lesson here, you can mope or be pissed. Fuck that, I flew and thrown from a cliff. Then in midair rolled me a spliff. Showed my ass and told you to kiss. I do not wish my life, I am the master. We here now, it's about what happens after. I told you life is fair, they lied. Now you know the truth decide. And I know it's hard to swallow, but follow, cause we gotta deal with tomorrow. Who told you life was fair? They lied. Now you know the truth decide. And I know it's hard to swallow, but follow, cause we gotta deal with tomorrow. Nowadays the media coming at you like a meteor. And as for life, it doesn't get easier. I'm asked the fact, life is not about what happens, it's about what happens after that. You pass the track, we all got choices. When you listen to outside or inner voices, lot of it lame, should I bottle the pain? We gotta fight a war smart, using knowledge and brain. That ain't fair. My brother, that's no question. Every day my people marching and protesting. And every time I think that we progressing, another young black man killed, there's no resting. Crazy. Sometimes the world looks evil, so I teach my kids to be good people. Lighting a flame to inspire my aim. We gotta fight for justice, not cry and complain. Come on. Who told you life is fair? They lied. Now you know the truth decide. And I know it's hard to swallow, but follow, cause we gotta deal with tomorrow. Who told you life was fair? They lied. Now you know the truth decide. And I know it's hard to swallow, but follow, cause we gotta deal with tomorrow. Yo! Cymarshall Law Show. Let's go. Yeah. This one's called Wind Rush by Black Belt Poems. Right. My big brother. How we do? English Jamaican shit. Let's go.
Check it. It's like this.
came out with this joint like last year.
No, I'm not a racist, but the immigration system worldwide, it ain't a facelift. Only blacks and browns are affected, just mostly blacks and browns get arrested, tested, double check shit they had messed with, build up your land and then told to exit. Expect you to leave your kids unprotected. They know why we kick up a stick and won't accept this. I shouldn't have to make songs like these for you to get it. You put in the work, you should inherit. Humane, these rights is wrong, it's not civil. Why all types of bells ain't ringing, not even whistles. Black people face evil and windrush. What else these devilish people gon' think? Got my black skin tough. Why? Because it's been rough. We keep proving we strong and survival is in us. Black people face evil and windrush. What else these devilish people gon' think? Got my black skin tough. Why? Because it's been rough. We keep proving we strong and survival is in us. Who land treat people unfair cause of race? Trust me, one day that's gonna blow up in your face, and that race will come and invade your space, and your kids gonna love them and get along great. And every meal we make, they be pulling up plates. That's how it is in the world today. They don't want the people, but the music they'll take. Systematic racism put in place. Some of us still waiting for change after 400 plus years. It's still the same. The whole world is controlled by lames. Nobody admits or takes the blame. When you ask why you wanna keep blacks in chains, they killing us for sport. It's an active game. I'll take fair game over the fame. We wild out cause we get nothing being tamed. Reminds me of the Central Park 5 being framed. They expect us to work through bruises and sprains. From the beginning, we always had a rough start. We wanna know what's wrong with these blood clots. Black people face evil and windrush. What else these devilish people gon' think? Cut my black skin tough. Why? Because it's been rough. We keep proving we strong and survival is in us. Black people face evil and windrush. What else these devilish people gon' think? Cut my black skin tough. Why? Because it's been rough. We keep proving we strong and survival is in us. Change the law, the first thing you can do about it. You see us suffering, how does your soul allow it? No, I'm not complaining. Fuck it, we all though. Getting treated like slaves and sold as cargo. Separate families, take away your pick enemy. Then got your baby sucking on my wife's titty. Treated like an animal, tame like a horse. Segregation using Jim Crow's laws. We did 400 plus, now what's to become of us? Trump wanna build walls, or bring them war us. UK wanna shift us, calling it windrush. Them know why me, I'm in bread, I them link up. Facts, you had us working next to nothing, whipping up bats, calling us nigga, just to press buttons, yeah. I feel some type of way, that's why we love, we fight, work hard and pray that we don't go crazy when the area is gray. You might not understand everything I say, this shit gotta change right now today. Black people face evil and windrush. What else these devilish people gon' think? Cut my black skin tough. Why? Because it's been rough. We keep proving we strong and survival is in us. Black people face evil and windrush. What else these devilish people gon' think? Cut my black skin tough. Why? Because it's been rough. We keep proving we strong and survival is in us.
Cymarshall Law Show, December 2nd, 2020. I hope y'all getting ready to have a blessed day. So I know I'm about to whoop this day's ass, and I hope y'all about to do the same. So yeah, that last joint I played was by Black Belt Poems. It's on a joint he put out last year called The Lost Files of Skit Slam. You can get that on Apple, Spotify. It's called Windrush, that joint. So yeah, when my brother and I heard yesterday, we seen a freestyle by Two Better, and he was talking about Windrush and everything going on today in the UK, them sending cats back to Jamaica, and it touched our heart because Two Better was the first person that my brother and I saw, besides my brother who did this joint that came out last year, that spoke on this situation, and it's something that touches our hearts because we're Jamaicans, born in England, and we moved to America, so we just have all these perspectives of sometimes people be like, not so much now, but growing up, my friends would be like, are they racist too in England? I'd be like, fam, in England? You gotta be fucking kidding me, of course. Y'all bugging. So then I moved to America and saw the American perspective of how things are. And a lot of times when you live in one place and you've never been to somewhere else, it's almost impossible to have I don't want to say a good perspective, but an honest perspective. And I say honest, not out of someone lying, but if you're able to be somewhere and you can actually see it and feel the vibe and you really know what's going on. So a lot of people around the world, like when I go to England, my English friends ask me all the time about the stuff they see over here. And now the internet has the world connected. However, it's a big difference between you seeing some shit on the internet and you actually being here and going through it every single day. So, you know, I saw that English perspective because I lived in England. And then when I moved to America, I gained that American perspective. And my parents told me how it used to be in Jamaica. So I have this unique perspective that only people who have a similar upbringing to my family also have. And so when we saw Two Bada having the same type of perspective, yo, it touched us. So big shout out to Two Bada. You know what I'm saying? You got some support from Cymarshall Law, Skit Slam, Black Belt Poems, and Ever Living Sound. So yeah, man, I think we're gonna close the show out. I'm gonna close it out with my quote of the day. It's by Wayne Dyer. Rest in peace. Great author, great speaker. He has a bunch of books. Check out Wayne Dyer, WANE space DYER. But he once said, I'll never forget it. I was watching TV at my mom's house, and I can't remember what he was on, but he said this, and I've never ever forgot it. So the quote of the day by Wayne Dyer is, turn this joint all the way down. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I'll say it again. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. This has been an episode of Cymarshall Law Show. Thank y'all for listening. I hope y'all have a wonderful, successful, positive day. This is Cymarshall Law saying peace and positive energy, and I'm out. Peace.